Hello friends, Namaste, welcome to my channel. Let's make it lovely. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe and click on the bell icon for notifications. Today I am going to share with you all this beautiful bangle backdrop that is perfect for Indian traditional baby shower or bridal celebrations like Haldi, Mehndi or even engagement ceremony. Recently, I shared the news in my YouTube community post and Instagram that my YouTube journey and second pregnancy started at the same time. So this is the backdrop I made 2 months ago for my own Sreemantham during my 9th month of pregnancy. Now let's get started with the backdrop. I tried to make this backdrop as easy and as budget friendly as I can. So I started making the frame with these pre-cut sticks from Amazon. I already shared this easy frame making trick in one of my previous videos, but for this backdrop I used even thicker sticks because I was going to hang bangles. You can use nails and hammer or you can use wood glue. But I just went ahead and used my hot glue gun. Once you make your choice, start assembling the frame as shown here. First make a square with 4 sticks and glue at the 4 corners. Initially, I was doubtful if the hot glue would hold well at the end after adding all the decor, but it held so well and the frames are still intact after the celebration. Next, using a measuring tape, mark the right and left sticks at equal intervals. Since the sticks I bought are 36 inches, I marked them at 9, 18 and 27 inches. Here I am repeating the same markings on the left side too. Stick the wooden sticks along the markings using hot glue gun. To keep the stick straight, make sure the other end of the stick rests on the markings made on the other side. Now stick the other ends along the markings. After finishing sticking horizontal sticks, flip the frame. Now make the markings along the bottom stick and the top stick. Again, all these sticks are 36 inches, so I am marking at 9, 18 and 27 inches. Now stick the wooden sticks vertically along the markings. Make sure you are sticking them at every joint so the frame can be strong enough. Continue sticking 2 more sticks along the markings. For this backdrop, I made 2 of these frames as I was going to hang them one underneath another to make it tall enough for the final look. Now let's see how I made these paper peacocks. I chose a free flower template I found online and I inserted it in a Word document. Using the ruler on top, I made the big one approximately 5.5 inches and small one 3.5 inches. I will leave the link to this flower template in the description box below. I grabbed some cardstock papers in pink and green and I also used these leftover glitter cardstock I had on hand. Now I am going to cut these templates using a pair of scissors, but you can also use an X-Acto knife. After cutting out the templates, I placed the bigger one on the pink cardstock and traced it around using a pencil. I placed the smaller template on the green cardstock and traced it around. Now I cut out both the flowers using a pair of scissors. Though green parrots are current trend for event decorations, I wanted to create something new, and especially as Lord Krishna was on my mind ever since I knew it was a baby boy, I wanted to make peacocks instead of parrots. For peacock's body, I tried to hand draw it roughly, and once I liked the outline, I went ahead and cut it out. You may choose an image from internet to use as a template, just like we did with the flower shape. Using this as template, I traced and cut out peacock's body on gold cardstock paper. For peacock's crown, try to cut out narrow triangles and refine the edges. Similarly, I also drew and cut out peacock wings on this blue and green mixed glitter cardstock. For peacock's heads, I traced them such that 4 are facing to the right and 4 to the left. Now to add some details to the peacocks, I used this tacky glue and stuck some embroidery kundans I had on hand. I stuck the blue ones first to make them look like peacock feather centers and fanned out the green kundans around them. You can also add more kundans or sequins, but I kept it minimum. For the green cutout, I used some pink diamond-shaped kundans. Next, I used this gold acrylic paint pen to outline the edges. I find these acrylic pens very useful. I also used these in a couple of my previous videos. However, you can also use a 3D outliner if you have one. On the green cutouts, I also added some feather-like details. Now to assemble them together, I cut out few pieces of cardboard like shown here. I stuck them together using hot glue gun, adding these cardboard pieces in between the layers to give it a little bit of 3D look. This step is optional. If you are not aiming for 3D look, you can skip cardboard pieces and stick one on top of the other using tacky glue. Adding the cardboard pieces definitely elevated the look. Next, I am taking this embroidery gold ball chain to hang a bell. You may also use any gold color thread. I am sticking it on the back with little bit of tape because I want to be able to take it off easily after the event and reuse it in different projects. Next, I stuck some gold color thread on the top using hot glue gun. I'm going to use this thread to tie the peacocks to the backdrop frame. I stuck a small black bead for peacock's eye. This is how the finished peacock looks. Like this, I finished making 8 peacocks, 4 facing to the right and 4 to the left. Next, let's see how easily I hung these bangles. I got some yellow and blue lightweight metal bangles for this backdrop purpose, and I mixed some unbreakable bangles of different colors I had on hand. I didn't want any bangles to break on the occasion, so I chose only unbreakable ones. If we hang the bangles directly with a ribbon or a rope, they are going to bend in the middle and won't look good. So I wanted to reuse an empty tissue paper roll for this purpose. But as I didn't have enough on hand, I rolled a cardstock paper and taped it to make a cylindrical roll. Next, I put bangles on the roll in a pattern I like. Like this, I arranged all the bangles on cardstock paper rolls. Next, I cut off the excess paper using a pair of scissors. Now to hang these to the frame, I am going to add a thin ribbon through the tube. I chose the ribbon color same as the backdrop cloth color so that it won't be shown out. Now that we saw how to make these peacocks and bangle hangings, let's see how to arrange them on the wooden frame. First, I took some woolen thread in equal pieces. You can also use regular thread, but it's easier when the thread is thick. Now start by attaching one end of the marigold garland to the second square of the frame using a piece of thread. Fill the entire square by attaching the garland at the top and bottom edges of the square like shown here. If you have time and patience, you can use thin thread or even transparent thread for clean look. For me, it was harder to sit on floor for long with 9 months belly, so I took the easy way and used yarn thread instead. If the end of the garland falls little short in the square, you can attach the short edge to the frame using little bit of tape. Using the same method, fill alternate squares with flower garlands. Once you are done attaching the flowers, turn the frame to the front side. In the final look, you can also tuck in all the green edges as shown here. Next, I attached the peacocks for empty squares in the left and right of the frame. I am simply tying the peacocks to the frame using golden thread I stuck at the top of the peacocks. For hanging the bangles, I turned the frame around and tied the ribbon to the top edge of the square. Make sure all the bangle sets are hanging in the middle of the squares to get an even look. Cut any excess pieces of ribbon at the end and similarly fill remaining empty squares with bangles. Like this, I prepared 2 frames for my backdrop. Next, for setting up the backdrop, I am using this backdrop stand I have. If you want details on how to set up and use this stand, check my first Sreemantham video link in the description box below. Once I set up the stand, I added this beautiful ivory and gold color curtains to the left and right end. I borrowed these curtains from my friend. She got them made in India. Next, I am using these zip ties to attach the wooden frames to the backdrop stand. I am placing the frame on a chair to get some support while I attach it to the stand. You can definitely take someone's help if you can. These zip ties are very easy to use, but zip ties usually have one rough side and one smooth side, so they lock only on one side. So make sure you get that lock right before you let go of the frame. I used 4 zip ties to secure the frame. Cut off the excess part of zip ties with a pair of scissors. Next, I am using this green saree I have as backdrop for center part. For this, I am attaching this extra rod to backdrop stand with the help of zip ties. This is a metal pipe from my daughter's play tent. You may use any plastic pipe or wooden stick that is long enough to drape the saree. I'm attaching this rod to existing backdrop stand with one zip tie on either side, making sure there is little gap for hanging the saree. Next, I draped the saree over this rod and folded in the border part so that only green part is shown out. If you have a double rod backdrop stand, you can skip the step of adding an extra rod. Next, I secured the top screws of the backdrop stand and I raised the height of the stand on both sides. Next, I joined the second wooden frame to the top frame with zip ties. I placed a book underneath the bottom frame to bring both the frames closer while I zip tied them together. Use at least 4 to 5 zip ties to secure the frame. Next, I removed the book and tightened the zip ties. Next, for the final touches, I added these beautiful white and lotus flower garlands on either side of the wooden frame using safety pins. Usually I get a lot of messages in Instagram and Facebook asking details about the garlands I use in my videos. I got these from Kaira Gift World. I will leave links to this store and contact number in the description box below. Next, I hung these yellow and green garlands over the top screws that are on either side of this backdrop stand. And at last, I added these golden bead strings to the ivory fabric with safety pins. I think it already looks beautiful without these strings, but I just added them as I already had them on hand. I covered the black rod visible in center with a yellow marigold garland using small pieces of tape. When sticking the garlands with tape, try to stick along green stem part so you don't ruin the flowers. Last but not least, if you are doing the event indoor, add some focus lights to elevate the ambience. I got these inexpensive lights from Amazon. We can change the color of the light to match the decor or for the look you prefer. As my Sreemantham was done during pandemic time, we held it in friend's backyard with less than 10 people, but I definitely wanted to make it a memorable one in spite of all the things happening around. I added a touch of little Krishna in the center of the table and decorated with sweets, flowers and fruits. You might be interested to check out my previous column backdrop and lotus flower backdrop designs I did using similar wooden frame. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Let's Make It Lovely for more updates. Lot of you sent me pictures of backdrops that you created after watching my videos. I share all these on my Instagram stories and Facebook page. I love looking at these pictures. It gives me a lot of satisfaction. Thank you so much for sharing them with me. And I hope this video will be useful for you. If you like this video, hit the like button and let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and share.